Excuses, excuses, excuses. Too many excuses. We utilize excuses as morphine to alleviate our failure to pursue our purpose. Living a life full of excuses will bring unsatisfaction to your time here on earth. In this episode, I will be speaking on how our excuses will bury our leadership potential. We will closely study 5 main excuses used mostly to keep us from executing our purpose.
This is the Rocky Zapata Leadership Podcast.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Rocky Zapata Leadership Podcast. I hope this episode serves as a stepping stone to explode the leadership potential you carry within. I truly believe and I am in love with the fact that we all have potential to grow, and growth never stops. There is always room for more and more and more. I personally want to thank those who have shared past episodes of this podcast in their social media. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Also, follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Rocky Zapata. As many of you know, I like to start my podcast with a funny story. And I heard of this man who was walking on the beach, and God said, "Son, you have been so good, so faithful. I am going to grant you one special wish." He was so excited, he told God, "I have always wanted to go to Japan, God, but I am afraid to fly. So my wish is for you to build me a bridge across the ocean." God said, "Son, that is totally impossible. Think of the work that takes, the infrastructure as a whole, lots and lots of work." "Please take some time and think again," the man said. "Okay, God, I have been married 6 times, and all my ex-wives say I am a bad guy. My wish is to understand women. I want to know why they think the way they think and why they feel the way they feel." There was a long pause, and God said, "Do you want 2 lanes or 4 lanes on that bridge?" We love our women out there. So let's dive into our text before I get in trouble here. I do not want to get in trouble. I will start by defining excuse. What is an excuse? An excuse is an attempt to lessen the blame. An attempt to lessen the blame by seeking a defense mechanism. I recall my college days at FIU when I was in the process of obtaining my bachelor's degree. The first day of class, the professor will hand over the syllabus. This syllabus outlined all class requirements, including all term paper due dates. It was fair game for every student in class. We all had knowledge of these dates. Throughout the semester, it was extremely easy to lose track of these dates due to real life activities, work, family, and even all other college classes. It was easy to lose the target. Then one day you realize the due date was tomorrow and your term paper is only 18% complete. Guess what happened at this point? The excuses start pouring over the professor's desk. "Professor, you will not believe what happened to me. My dog ate my paper. No, wait, professor. My cat was sick. No, wait, professor. My cousin took ill and I had to cater to her. No, wait, professor. Too much overtime at work." You say many excuses instead of taking accountability for your actions. Instead of giving your professor all those excuses, you should have gone in there and said, "Professor, you gave me my syllabus at the beginning of class. I was fully aware of the due date. I failed to comply with such assignment. I make 0 excuses, professor, and I take full accountability. Do what you believe is correct." Why can't we operate in this way? Because it is easier to live a life full of excuses rather than to live a life full of accountability. Understand, you control the situation. And if there is someone to blame, it is only yourself. This is the beauty of excuses. They are always available. They are free. If you want to find an excuse, trust me, you will have plenty to choose from. we will always seek a defense mechanism to lessen the blame on ourselves on why we failed to execute, or even worse, on why we will never even get started. I truly believe everyone is born with an appetite for purpose, an internal desire to grow into the person you have been created to be. This is why when we're children, we're full of dreams. We are full of aspirations. Remember when you were a kid, you wanted to be a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, a president, a mayor, a pastor, a bishop. And we had so many dreams. But unfortunately, our excuses have played a huge role on the reasons why we failed to execute those dreams, why we failed to execute that purpose. Has everyone been to Disney World? I have many a times with my daughter Leilani. How beautiful is that place? Full of imagination. Did you know Walt Disney was rejected from a job at a newspaper because he lacked imagination and the skills to draw? Can you imagine? Someone told Mr. Disney, please, sir, find another profession because imagination is not really your forte area. Walt Disney could have gone home and give himself a million excuses on why it was best to forget his purpose. Instead, he put the excuses aside and created what we know today as Walt Disney World, a worldwide enterprise. One of my biggest political admirations is Abraham Lincoln. Did you know he ran for office 9 different times, tried to be governor, senator, and president on 9 different occasions, but guess what? He failed. But these 9 failures did not serve as an excuse to Abraham Lincoln. Instead of excusing his failures, Abraham Lincoln kept pushing until he became the 16th president of the United States of America. He saved the Union during the Civil War, the American Civil War, and emancipated the slaves. Imagine if his excuses would have gotten the best of him. His results would have never influenced the world. The question is, what excuse are you using? What is keeping you from pursuing your leadership purpose? Are you just going to sit at home and see the hours, the days, the weeks, the months, and the years pass you by? What's your excuse? Let me tell you, whatever it is expired. Let it go. The first excuse people use to place an abrupt halt to their leadership purpose is time. They see their end goal as too far, too long to reach. I remember when I started college, when I was 18 years old, this was the main excuse used by most kids that age. They all dropped out of school because all they said was, wow, 4 years for an undergrad degree? That is way too long, too long, too long. And before we knew it, 4 years flew by fast. Instead of looking at those 4 years as such a long road, start focusing on one day at a time, one class at a time, and your excuses will disappear. If you want to venture into your own business, stop placing an excuse on the longitude. It will take you to get there. Take one day at a time. Grow that business. Grow that purpose. Unfortunately, we have gotten accustomed to a microwave purpose. Homologous to frozen food, we want to place our purpose into the microwave, punch in 5 minutes, and be hot and ready like Little Caesars. $5 pizzas in 5 minutes. We want things fast. We do not want to pay the price, give the time, and undergo the process of our purpose, which is why placing excuses is the best way out. People just do not like to wait anymore, and is used as a big excuse. Remember, everything in life takes time. There is a process tied to time. Today is the day you drop the time excuse. No more excuses. Think about this. If you start today, imagine where you will be in 6 months, 5 years, or 10 years down the road. Start and put aside the excuse time. The second most used excuse by people to place an abrupt halt to their leadership purpose is their age. Everyone remembers that old saying, age ain't nothing but a number? Well, say that to yourself. It is just a number. Achieving your goal has nothing to do with your age. Something I find in people, and I find this a lot, they complain of how much time of their life they have thrown away. I was speaking to a young man the other day, and he was saddened because at 33 years old, he said, Rocky, I do not have a career, I do not have a college degree, and I haven't purchased a home. Rocky, he told me, my 20s was dedicated to just have fun and more fun. But I failed to take some time to prepare myself for the long run. I failed to have a long-term goals. I lived my life in the daily. I understand it is extremely easy to feel trapped in a bubble of age, but do not be too hard on yourself. If you feel like this young man, you feel as time has passed you by due to not giving life the seriousness it deserves, stop yourself for a minute. Stop. Put it behind you and start new and fresh. It is never too late to start. Henry Ford started Ford at 40 years old. Imagine. Harlan Sanders started KFC at age 65. Ray Kroc franchised McDonald's, purchased it from the McDonald brothers at age 52. And Sam Walton started Walmart at age 44. Quit excusing yourself because of your age. If you are currently breathing and you have life in you, go chase that purpose. The third most used excuse by people to place an abrupt halt to their leadership purpose is comparison. Please stop comparing yourself to other people. You have your own talents, you have your own gifts, and you have been created by the Almighty God in a unique and great way. Comparing yourself to others is a great excuse to do nothing. You look at your hero and say, I will never be that talented. Guess what? You are correct. You won't, because you have your own talent. Please do not misunderstand me. It is great to admire people and learn from them. This is what your circle, your surroundings are all about. I admire people and I learn from certain people. You become what surrounds you. Learn and admire people. I do it myself. But understand, you will never be them. You have your own leadership calling that must be fulfilled. Stop comparing yourself and start doing. Your calling is waiting. The fourth most used excuse by people to place an abrupt halt to their leadership purpose is blame. Stop blaming others for what you yourself have caused. Listen to me. Stop blaming other people for what you yourself have caused. I had an employee once who blamed everyone for his lack of results. One day, I brought him into my office to speak on why his performance was the lowest in months. And I wanted to offer how can I help as his leader. I wanted to help improve those results. Not one moment did he take any accountability. Yet the conversation was based on why other coworkers were at fault for his failures. I said, son, you have been late 3 days in a row. His response was, yes, but my coworker Paul has also been late. This is not about Paul, son. This is about you. He was more worried about excusing his actions with Paul's actions rather than taking accountability. The excuse of blaming others gets more deeper than that. It is actually rooted in our upbringing. I have heard many people blame their parents. They are deeply hurt with their parents for their failed life. Yes, I understand. Our parents possess some responsibility for our upbringing. But once you are grown, stop the excuses and go. Yes, some parents were not the best at educating. But guess what? They are human, just like you. They made mistakes, just like you make them. It is up to you to stay there, dwell on their mistakes, or move forward. But the biggest blame excuse used is our past. How many of you have made mistakes in the past? I know I have, and trust me, tons of them. Stop using your past mistakes as an excuse. In the contrary, you can use those mistakes to become better, bolder, and fearless. The past is the past. You must let it go. Free yourself. That is internally. It is in you. You need to free yourself. You do not control what happens in life, but you do control how you manage what happens in life. Stop feeling as if people owe you something. No one owes you anything, not even your parents, not at all. You know who owes you something? You owe it to yourself. Start doing and leave the excuses. The last and main excuse people use to bring an abrupt halt to their leadership purpose is, you sure you want to hear this? It is hard and it is not nice what I am going to say. Okay, I'm going to say it. The main excuse you use is self-rejection. Yes, self-rejection. Believe it or not, you reject yourself far more often than what you think. Part of that self-rejection is the great phrase used by many: I am not good enough, or I do not have what it takes. I am not good enough, or I do not have what it takes. Those phrases should not form part of your vocabulary. A huge part of rejecting yourself is because you worry too much of people's opinion. Yes, people's opinion matter to you just a little bit too much. Remember, it is only an opinion. Well, I do not want to start singing because what is people going to say about my voice? You're rejecting yourself. I want to be a public speaker, but people might say I am not good enough. You're rejecting yourself. I want to start my own business, but what are my coworkers going to say? What is my boss going to say? You're rejecting yourself. I want to chase that dream, but what is my family going to say? You're rejecting yourself once again. People are always going to laugh at me, you say, because I am just not good enough. This self-rejection has to stop. Stop living life based on people's expectations of you. Self-rejection is based on people's opinion around you. Listen, many people believe I am a horrible public speaker. That is okay. Guess what? Because I love my voice. Many people believe I am a horrible businessman. That is okay too, because I love me as a businessman. And guess what? My results speak for itself. Let your results speak for itself. Do not worry if people like you. Chase that leadership purpose, because there is people waiting to be influenced by your gifts. Remember, for one person that thinks you're horrible at it, there is 5 people being blessed by your gift. For every one hater you have, there is 5 being blessed by your gift. Do not live your life wondering what if, utilizing excuses as morphine to alleviate your failure to pursue your purpose. Living a life full of excuses will bring huge unsatisfaction to your time here on earth. Ladies and gentlemen, challenge yourself, challenge yourself, challenge yourself. New opportunities are knocking on the door. Your leadership purpose is ready to be exploded. You have purpose and have been created bigger than what your mind can conceive. Stop with the excuses and get started. Walt Disney said, the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing.
Thank you for joining us at the Rocky Zapata Leadership Podcast.